I'm not camera ready. But that don't matter. This video is actually for anybody who wants to get into my comic EatKings. So if you're not here for that, you should probably go. That might be your best bet. Because I'm trying to recap the series that I began writing when I was 17, which means we're going to start from the start before we get all to the surreal and interesting shit. I'm going to have to probably censor that. If you're not here for that, go. Everybody else, you know what I'm finna do. We got to get in the green before we really begin to recap what I've been up to for the last 2 years. So let's do that.
Can't say how I'm feeling inside. I wanna be sealed, but got too much pride. I wanna be sealed, but I really heal. Don't really like heal, but I tell you I tried. I did everything else but cry. I
Now,
smoke all my weed, young nigga on fried.
If you're not new
You can see
here,
all this shit in my
then for you, this is just any other video. You know, this is just catch up. You know, you done read it, you done been here, you know what's going on. But if you are new here, my comic EatKings is about two people, two individuals. Trey Dotrieve, Antoine Little, and Jason Newton. Otherwise, that I call them, Trey and Jay. Yeah, it rhymes, I know. Originally, my work began as short comics. There's like 17 of them. And there's, I think, 13 chapters out of a main story. You can read it for free on Webtoon. I'm not covering the shorts. You can just read those in your spare time. They're like 9 panels at times. They're short. They're like newspaper gag comic strips. But the main story is structured more like an actual comic or manga or Webtoon. So, what you need to know before I begin this chapter recap is that Trey and Jay work at a restaurant called EatKing within a city called Sodomore. That city lies in the outskirts of essentially a domed surveillance state, in a way. It's the neglected portion of a city that's far into the future of our world, in a sense. And so I'm essentially exploring the concepts of our present with this future hypothetical reality, but I'm giving myself free reign to do what I want in terms of, you know, creativity, showcasing surreal things. Like, that's what this is all for. So why not explore that in the way I know how, through the media I've consumed for so long growing up. So if you're a fan of like Boondocks or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or both, then I'm not here to waste your time. If anything, I'm here to put you on. So why not join me? Why not see this little journey I got going? I wish it could be quicker. I do, but I'm only one person. But as long as my heart's thumping, I'm going to have to still keep writing, drawing, and creating. I forgot. There are other characters you should know about first. Aside from the main duo, Trey and Jay, that work at the restaurant EatKing. Not EatKings, the comic is called EatKings, but the restaurant is EatKing. No S. Besides Trey and Jay, you've got Manager Man, their manager. I know that doesn't sound like much of a name, but I promise you, it suits him just fine. And if you read, you'd see why. Manager Man is a smaller, dwarvish-shaped man, but his personality is so loud he doesn't need a stature to precede him when he shows up anywhere. Because typically by the time he opens his mouth or farts, you know he's here. He's the one that within chapter 1 has sent them on their task to retrieve a truck. Now, aside from Manager Man, you've got Cleo Truth, who is another employee at the EatKings restaurant. See, even I get it wrong. The EatKing restaurant. That works at the EatKing restaurant typically can do both roles, while Trey is typically a cook and Jay is the cashier. Those are the roles they occupy exclusively. Cleo can kind of bounce between the roles. But when it comes to the nature of the world and what Trey and Jay will be coming into, she's already slightly more familiar with that than they ever could be. While within my story, if you've read up to the date, you understand where Trey and Jay are. They're not in the best situation right now. You'd understand that their reconfiguration is a world Cleo has already stepped into as an orator, as a person who can speak their abilities into existence, as a person who can summon food ghosts. It's a bit absurd, but just digest that with me for a second. Aside from Cleo Truth, who you will learn about over the next coming chapters, there's Ground Beef, another employee at the EatKings restaurant. See? I remember this time, no S. Ground Beef is a dog. He's a canine, a hound. He is not a man that walks on tubes. Manager Man has employed 2 young men, a woman, and a dog. And he pause be damned, that boy can with a grill. Real bad. And that's why he keeps him there. Is it sanitary? Not really. But Sodomore City is a grimy place. So by their standards, it's fairly sanitary and clean, fairly healthy. Now, there's another coworker that Trey and Jay have, actually 2 others, that haven't appeared in the main story yet, but they will be relevant soon. You've got Ricky and Damani. Now, the positions they hold, Ricky, he's appeared in a few short comics, and he has a longer short where he has an alien friend come to visit. And Damani is a teen superhero called Vanta Visor. I kind of like the teen superhero trope. You see that from Spider-Man, Static Shock. And I was like, why can't I just do that myself and fit that within my world? But with those limited characters that I want to talk about, there are obviously others that show up in the main story. But to start off with, those are the characters you've probably seen in the shorts before you get to the main story, the main chapters. But I've done a lot of yapping. I didn't even get to explain orators. But as you hear me talk about it, it'd be easier. So I've wasted enough of your time. Let's actually get into the story. Chapter 1, Off the Streets. I actually had that memorized off the top of my head, even though you think I should just be writing scripts. The chapter begins off, Manager Man is informing Trey and Jay that there's some unfortunate news. Their supply truck has been stolen. Now, obviously, originally when Trey and Jay hear of this unfavorable news, they originally guessed 2 very separate things, Jay's more worried about Ray's money, and Trey is more worried about Manager Man's haircut. But Manager Man relays to them that their supply truck was stolen. They don't have really food to run the restaurant for the day, and he needs them to retrieve the truck and the driver. Now, obviously, these 2 have questions. They don't just want to go do a fetch quest when they already work a minimum wage job. Why leave the restaurant to go do something else when they can just make money there? Management explains to him he can't just report the truck stolen because, he already has a warrant for his arrest. Well, at least one of his aliases does. So it's just not... He's the last guy to walk into a police station and start asking about crimes. You get what I'm saying? And he can't use another free truck, supply truck of food, because, he used that one for a birthday party. So this is not the most responsible man that you see managing this restaurant. So anyway, he tells the 2, find that truck before the shift ends and you get a raise. But if not, no raise. And he's out of there. He slams the door. Jay looks at Trey and he's like, I'm not feeling the fetch quest. I don't want to go look for that truck. I barely want to be at work, but I don't want to do that fetch. I don't want to look for the truck. And it takes Trey a little bit of convincing. to get Jay to be like, all right, we'll go outside. He's like, you want to solve this mystery? I work a 14-hour shift. And so Jay weighs that in his mind for not even a fraction of a second. And he's like, okay, yeah, let's go. Let's see what this is about. And so, cut to the two outside, behind the restaurant, the back, the dumpster area. And they notice the area is kind of just riddled with a white, powdery, granulated substance. Besides the fact that Jay does notice that the area smells foul, he also sees that this stuff outside, he recognizes it. And he's like, yo, I've seen this stuff before, but I don't really know where it's from. Like what's up with that? And he goes out to touch it. He's trying to bridge the gaps in his, get at what this stuff is, because he feels like he's seen it before. And Trey's like, nah. There's evidence. It's evidence. We can't touch that. It's not safe. And so Jay's just like, oh, whatever. I guess the truck exploded. Let's go back inside. Just trying to solve this mystery as soon as possible with a little effort. Pick up that change and be up out of there. Maybe even just close the restaurant for the day. No truck, no work. Let's get out of here. But Trey's like, no. Pete, look. There is a hole underneath the dumpster. So Jay's like, yo, you're right. You're so right. How did I know? There's a hole underneath the dumpster. And this strange substance leads to it. It can only mean one thing. And so, these two laugh about the situation they're in. Two underpaid dummies here to go inspect a smelly hole. But then now they have to actually legitimately question, how did they get a supply truck down that hole? Underground. Is that where this mystery is leading? And that's actually the end of chapter 1. I think chapter 1 is only like 20 pages or so. Like, it's not that long. Mind you, started writing this when I was 17. I'd come on to TikTok and I was pitching the characters and like a vague idea of the story. I don't even think originally they were even supposed to be in a world of people with monsters or superpowers, but that was just going to happen. I let my influences move through me and I started to cook. But y'all can't see the stuff I'm seeing yet. I have to bring it to life first. But that's why we got to do the recaps. Because if you can't sit down to read it, at least this will come out at some time. You can come watch this while you eat. Relearn the story with the guy who had to sit down and write about it. Because why not talk about it? Spend all that time on my back. Messed up. Well, I can't say for you, it was for me. The entire time it was for me. Now, when it comes to chapter 2, I originally for these videos wanted to do like chapters 1 through 4, but it's been a minute since I've uploaded, and I don't want to, one, overload my phone or my iPad with voice messages and audio. I don't have a proper setup yet, but that'll change soon. Hopefully when I get what I need, I can actually improve the quality of my videos and actually have a better consistency. I could actually bring a lot more to the table I wanted to for so long. So not that I've forgotten this, is that this had to take a knee. But I wanted to do this. But for chapter 2 starts right back where we left off with the duo, right? Jay and Trey are just kind of outside posted up like, yeah, we got to probably see what's up with that hole. We're going to have to move that dumpster, man. We got to figure out what happened. And Jay's, he's like, you can figure out what's going on after we get down that hole. And so Trey's muttering to himself. He's like, we're going to have to pick up the dumpster. We're going to have to probably find a way to get down there safely. Like, he's trying to devise a plan. Trey's trying to think ahead and cook and build. That's not what Jay's on. Bro, Jay walk up to that dumpster smooth. Get that dumpster a little kick. He's like, all right. Squats down, gets his hands underneath the bottom of that dumpster. And he just lets that side fly. Lifts it up. Easy. No plan. Easy. One stroke. And so Trey's like, here this strong ass nigga go. Because of course, he just felt like being Yuji Itadori and just being the Hulk. Just want to live shit. And so, they're about to, go down the hole because Jay's like, after you, nigga. There. I done cleared the way. We can go down that hole now and see what's up. Man, Trey walks up to that hole and he gags. He takes that whiff and he gags. He's like, yo, this shit stinks. I mean, he didn't say it like that, but if it was me, I would have. He's like, yo, this reeks. I think I don't even want the raise that bad. I think we should just go back inside. Well, Jay don't agree. He just lifted that dumpster. He kind of wants a raise, so guess what he does? He pushes Trey in that hole. He gonna dive. Too late now. They're already outside. But after Jay pushes Trey into that hole, we revisit Manager Man as he makes his way up to that counter, up front, to the register. He just wants to dip in it, get his greasy hands in there, maybe take $1, a coin or two. Right? Does this shit affect how I sound, or am I straight? Let me see. It don't matter. Y'all be straight. Manager Man goes up to the front, but his thieving session of his own funds is stopped because Cleo Truth is already at the front of the counter. Now, I want to stop for a second and just say I do enjoy Cleo's design. I know I'm glazing myself, but she's probably one of the few characters with like colored hair and like jewelry and piercings. I can like really. She has a signature style. Like, it's her when it's on the screen. It's her. But anyway, Manager Man's like, yo, what are you doing here, Cleo Truth? Because mind you, he was going up there to take some money. And Cleo's up there dealing with a customer, and so she tells him, oh, I'll be with you in a second, Miss Brown. Just kind of waving her off so she can go sit, and she'll be tended to and served later. Turns to Manager Man, and she's like, it's 4:15, and you're supposed to be, betting on dog chess. You're very present in this moment. You're not seemingly at the bar betting on dog chess. And it's like, you know about that? Like, I be gambling funds? Like, I do that? Yeah, everybody knows. But he has to break the news to her that, yeah, we ain't got no food. We can't really serve anybody. It was stolen. Can't really do a lot about it. I sent the boys out to go get it. We're kind of cooked. And so Cleo's like, dang, I mean, I just rang that lady up. Like, I told her she was gonna get fed. Like, what we gonna do? Like, we're gonna have to tell her we ain't got any food. So Cleo, walks up to the customer she just served. Manager Man, of course, goes with her because he's the manager after all. And, Cleo breaks the news to the customer, Miss Brown, that they don't got any food, but we could at least get you, cookies and a water. And so, the customer's like, that's fine. I can't complain when it comes to free food. Manager Man bugs out. He's like, free? Free food? Man, we already ain't got no truck. You just giving away free food? Might as well just toss the register in a lake or something. And Cleo's like, yes, I'm giving her some free food. You tripping. And Manager Man gets to bum shaming. Talking about giving handouts to everybody that just walks in from the streets of Sodomore. Cleo checks him. She's like, you shouldn't just make these assumptions about people just because of them coming off the streets of this city, That doesn't mean they're not entitled to some sort of help, and they should be relieved of your criticism. And so, mind you, they're having this conversation in front of the lady, so she's like, I'm right here. Nigga just called her a bum, like right in front of her. But after that interaction, we revisit the duo, Trey and Jay. They are down that hole, mind you, just like Mario and Luigi. They plummet. But they are not graceful plumbers. They wake up sitting on boxes. You know, I think Jay lands on like a box of bread buns and Trey lands on like a box of frozen patties. So they didn't even get the same type of fall. But they get up and Trey noticed more of that, that white stuff from the surface beyond earlier. He's like, yo, it's more of this stuff here. I don't think this has anything to do with us, but it can stand to reason. It's behind that door over there. He points off into the distance. Camera pans to this massive door. Massive circular door. It's like as soon as attention is called to that door, it just begins to open. Big old doors, rumbling. As soon as it opens, Trey and Jay just see a woman and an entire group of people behind her. And they're like, yeah, does she look nice? Is this a threatening situation that we're in? But they can't really deduce that within the few seconds they have. That lady, she yells out, fire! For that net to show up and capture them. Because can't no surface walkers be underneath the ground meddling them in affairs. So, this mysterious lady, she put him to sleep. She's like, yeah, she uses a spell. So technically, within the series is probably the first time an orator has used an ability within the series? Chapter 2? But it starts with an aura cast. She casts an aura cast called Repose. And Trey and Jay are knocked out. Put to sleep utterly. Let me make sure this is still in here recording. Good. Puts these two to sleep. And so, they're kidnapped. With this mysterious figure. You know what I'm saying? Talking about a Dr. Bell and what she'll want to do with these two. So the chapter ends with our main duo kidnapped. I mean, they can't even do a job without somebody interfering. I mean, you think that these two niggas go to the bathroom and come out alive. Next thing you know, the entire toilet is uprooted and the bathroom's going to have to be remodeled. I'm taking this off. I don't know how folks be wearing that and talking, bro, because my soul behind that mask just baking. My lips still scarred, bro. Like, come on now. I do this to myself. I'm going to have to start wearing a mask. I mean, should be doing that anyway. But I got to cover this up before people get the wrong ideas. Now, understand me just talking about the first 2 chapters. There's not a lot going on. You as the audience don't know a lot about orators or even ill folk. But if you want insight on that, I mean, of course you could read the webtoon for free. Join the Patreon and get the exclusive stuff, get the early stuff. Or you could also get in the comments and let me know what more you want to hear from me. Let me know if you like it. It helps out a lot if you let me know that you like the video. Please. It helps me out. It makes that machine go. It brings me to you easier. So that I'm not having to seek you out in the dark wood. But anyway, I'll probably make a vid of me just storyboarding and planning my chapter 14 in the series, because chapter 13 is out on my Patreon for EatKings. But chapter 12, I think, is the most recent one out. I might have them numbered wrong, but I don't think I do. I've got quite a few chapters out. You can read ahead on my Patreon, or you can just wait month by month on Webtoon. It's your choice. My Patreon is like $1 minimum, $5 maximum. But if you got the funds, if you got the means to spare change or something, it helps. It really does. But anyway, I'm not going to hold you too long. You've got to make your daily doodle, and you should read EatKings. And you got to get in the green. Also, actually, y'all mess with this painting? Y'all did not get to see my painting journey a while ago. Like, I might have made a video painting, but it wasn't good. Like I was just kind of testing them out with it, but I wasn't really doing much with the paintings. Like I was just kind of experimenting. And so it's like off screen, I'm doing this. It's like when you be watching a Minecraft YouTuber and they're like, yeah, I did some off screen mining. Off screen progress chat. Like, I don't know what this looks like to y'all. Them months roll by quick when you stop getting online. But I'm proud of this piece. It really should have came out in October, but it wasn't done until like a few days ago. I love this piece, but it's going to have to get sold. It's going to have to. Anyway, like I said, I won't hold you too long. You got to get in the green. And I hope I can make another video to see you soon. And if this is still recording and I can edit it, thank you. I love y'all. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you to my patrons. Everybody. Especially Kiri. Pronounce your name right, bro. You funny guy.
Tell I'm feeling inside. I wanna be sealed, but got too much pride. I wanna be sealed, but I'm really hip. Don't really like hip, but I tell you I tried. I did everything else but cry. I done smoke all my weed, young nigga on fried. You can see all this shit in my eye. If you